Hi, I'm Kate and I make junk journals. Last week we made this little booklet and this week we're going to decorate it and design each page. So last week I showed you that I made these little paper bag junk journals for girls camp. So I had a bunch of youth and I pre-prepared a bunch of stuff and we all made them together and it was so fun. It's a great idea for a group activity or just something really simple, or even if for your first junk journal project. So we made the construction, but we didn't decorate it. And I wanted to decorate it with you just in case you're not that familiar with junk journaling or you need some more ideas. So if you haven't seen that first video, the link is in the description and definitely head over and check that out first. Or if you just want some ideas for really simple, basic junk journal ideas, then these simple ideas can definitely be applied to any junk journaling project. So let's decorate this little sucker up and turn it into the cutest little notebook we ever saw. I'm gonna start with the cover, and I just have right here just an assortment of little stickers and little paper things. Here's like a stamp. I made these books for a little church camp, so we have some scriptures and cute little quotes, and then I have some washi tape. I printed out just words that just say little cute things that were fitting with girls camp and the things that we were learning there. So I'll just be working from this, and I did have a lot of this stuff, so if you're starting from scratch and you don't already have stuff and you need to get them, I would get some stickers, some washi tape, some words. You can just print out something, type it up in a Word document and print them out. And then you can just go to any craft store and you can get any little die cuts or cute little card cutouts, whatever you want. The second box I'll be working on just has some rubber stamps. And I'm not going to be using this glue today. I'm going to be using my fabric tack glue just because it dries so much faster and then I don't have to wait around. But at camp, these were super great and the girls used it no problem. So it's definitely a cheaper option, and then you have a lot so all the girls can have their own glue stick while they work. But I will be using a couple stamps as well. And it really doesn't matter what you use to decorate. You can use anything. Traditionally in junk journaling, you're supposed to use just like ephemera that you find around your house. You can use tags, little things from your trash, your junk mail, tickets, receipts, magazines, books, anything that you find you can cut up and use. So if you have time, you could totally like collect some magazines for people to use to work from. You could collect a lot of different kinds of papers and interesting things that people could get creative with. It really depends on the level of the crafter. The more raw the materials are that you give them and the more creative you have to be, then it might be kind of harder to teach people how to paper craft. Whereas if you just have stickers and pre-made things that are all cute in a set, then it doesn't take a ton of creativity and they can just put it together and it still looks amazing. So depending on who you're teaching to make these booklets, you might want to make it super easy and make it so it's no-brainer, it will turn out cute, or you can just use a lot of raw materials and let people really get creative. So totally up to you. Everything works. There are no rules in junk journaling. So I'm going to create a little collage cover. I'm just going to take a piece of scrapbook paper. When we built our book, you'll remember we used some paper from a scrapbook pad. So I have that scrapbook pad and we can pull paper from that as well. And that was a great resource for the girls to kind of work with too. So I'm just going to rip a little piece of it off and I'll just glue that on and start kind of creating a little scrappy collage cover. And I'll just bring in another little leftover piece of paper that I have and rip another little piece off. And I mainly just want to add some interest in texture, some layering, and I like to kind of make it look junky and rippy. I want to make sure that it's just kind of bright, colorful, cute, casual, fun, and happy little spring vibes. I'm going to rip out this little flower on this piece of paper, and we'll find a little place for this to go. Okay. I have some flower die cuts that I really love to use, and we'll stick that there. And I kind of like to put it on the third line. So in art, the rule of thirds means if you were to divide up your paper in a grid where you divide it in thirds this way and thirds this way, imagine 2 lines this way and this way, dividing those up. And these 4 places where those X's would line up on those lines dividing the thirds is where it looks really good to put focal points, and our eye kind of likes to go to. So if you're new to art and crafting, that's an easy thing to remember, is try to keep your focal points somewhere there. So I have these scrap papers, something kind of interesting, but I don't really have like a bold focal point, and something I love to use, probably my favorite focal point to use, is words. So I'm going to find a word or something with a word on it to kind of help look like there's a main focal point on the cover. I'm just gonna grab this little paper that says "Be kind," and I will go ahead and glue that on there somewhere that I think will look nice. Maybe up here, maybe in the middle, maybe just right in the middle. Maybe even turn it a little bit. Yeah, I think I like that. Be kind. So I really like this as a cute little camp notebook. If I had a long time to spend on it and it wasn't just a short craft that I was doing, I might get more intricate with it and add more layers of stamps. I might add like some lace to the cover. I might cut out even more pieces and make more intricate collage. But I think this is cute and fun and bright and happy, and it has a nice little focal point. So I like this cover. So now let's go ahead and work on the inside. There is a pocket here because it's a paper bag, and I could make a little card and stick it in there, or I could take like a little card that has a little message on it and just slip it in there. So however they want to use it is fine, or if they want to ignore it altogether, that's fine too. You could write notes to each other, or if you're doing an activity where there are little handouts, maybe they could fit there, or maybe you could create a handout that everybody could keep and remember whatever it is, the message of your activity or group or whatever you're doing with your youth. Okay, so on the inside, it would be fun to add some layers and some interaction. So in a traditional junk journal, I like to make things that are very interactive. So this is a tuck where you tuck some pages there and you have extra writing space and tags, and you can kind of gather things from your life and kind of have a place to put it. Different pockets. I really like to do a lot of layers in all of my tutorials. I kind of go layer crazy, and that's not super typical. Most people do layers and interactions in their junk journals. I kind of go overboard. So don't think that you have to have a million layers and flippy out things, but a few interactive pieces is really nice. And then you have cards that you can write on. And so even though this is a simplified little journal, I still think it's fun to include some of these. So here are a few really fun but pretty basic and simple ideas for pages. Number one, we have the belly band. And a belly band is just a strip of paper that goes across so you can slip something behind it. So if I have this piece of paper, I can just cut. It doesn't quite matter how thick it is, somewhere between 1/2 inch to, you could go up to the full page of width, but just something thick enough to where it'd be able to hold a card or something. You can do this either way. You can do it up and down and just glue a little piece here and then slide something that way, or you can do it sideways and cut it down shorter, do it that way, and that's the way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to line up the edge of that to the that background paper and just kind of eyeball it and cut it so it's about the same length as the paper behind it. Then I'm going to take my glue and just make 2 little lines and drop my glue everywhere like normal. And then I'm going to put this down in the center of that page. And then because it's only glued on 2 sides, it will be able to hold a paper. So I'll take another piece of paper and I will just cut it down. And it just needs to be thinner than where the glue lines are so that it can slide down. And I'm going to make it a little shorter as well, and maybe kind of trim off some of these corners so it's a little tag just like that. And then that holds it in. And then you can decorate this or write on it or use this to have friends write on it, or maybe just put some cute stickers that you like so it's decorative, but it just kind of creates something interactive and fun. So let's just keep it simple, and we'll put this cute sticker on it just like that. And then when we go to write in this journal, we can always write on this side. Then that just looks like a little more decorated and complete. So we've got this page is all done. I'm gonna save these middle pages until I'm done with the outer cover pages. So let's move on to the back. Here is a little back panel flip out that we made from the bottom of that paper sack. So another idea besides the belly band is you could make a pocket. Making a pocket is really easy. All you need is another piece of paper, and I'm gonna just measure to have the width to line up with that back one. You can eyeball it, you can measure it with a ruler and be precise. I'm just going to fold it over, kind of eyeball it, just like that. Make sure that crease is really nice and squished in, and then I can just rip that right off. Okay, this pocket is a little bit tall for my liking, so I'm gonna want a little bit shorter. So I'll just fold that down to be about the height that I want, and I will do the same thing. I can just really pinch that edge as I fold it and rip that. So to turn this into a pocket, I'm gonna take my glue and glue it here, here, and here in little lines. So we'll flip it over and glue a line on the side, a line on the bottom, and a line on the top. And this works great, the same concept even with a glue stick. You just make sure you run that glue stick in a little U shape, leave the top one open, and then that will create space behind it to make a pocket. And then you can either print out a cute little card, use scrapbook paper, write a little note and tuck it in the pocket. However you want to use it, it is up to you and there's no wrong way. So I have this cute little quote and I'm just gonna stick it in there. Again, you can write on the back, you can leave it as is just to remember the quote. We can write little notes here, we can write here, we can decorate it more. I'm just gonna take a flower. Flowers and butterflies are like no fail stickers. I love flowers and butterflies. I stick them on everything and every theme. So if you're wondering like what kind of stickers to buy, flowers and butterflies, I'm telling you, can't go wrong. So we'll just stick a little flower in that corner just so it looks like, you know, it has attention down there and it's not neglected. And then I'm gonna take this as washi tape and I'll just take a little bit of washi tape and kind of go near the top of that pocket just to make it a little more fancy and decorated. That looks a little more complete. Got a little sticker, piece of washi tape. There's also some nice texture already from the scrapbook paper. So that is super cute. The next easy idea is you could just take a piece of writing paper and glue it on top so that you have a little writing space. So I just have some notebook paper, and this is just, I tore it out of a little notebook, but you can use just plain white paper, you can use any sort of writing paper, normal lined paper, anything that leaves room for writing. Now this color is something that I could already write on. If I did layer it with this, it would look more interesting to have the different layers and to have some color peeking on, but it's not necessary because I can write on that. While this is like a little harder to write on because there's more stuff going on. And especially like something like this, that's not something that is easy to see if you had writing on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it right here. And you've got lots of options, but some ideas are you could just cut it slightly smaller than this paper right here and just glue it on flat, just like that. Or you could fold it first and then glue one side so it kind of opens up like a card. You could even turn it sideways and do that same thing so it flips out. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take it and line it this way so that the lines are in the right orientation. And I'm going to fold it to the height that I want and pinch that down, and I can rip it. My camera cut out, so I don't think you saw this part, but what I did is I put this notebook paper on, and all I did was fold it to be the size I wanted and glue the back down. And when you fold it before you glue it down, it's nice because it leaves this little flap right here, and then you have kind of extra writing space. So we would just have this much to write on, but because we included a little extra, we can write here and here as well. So it kind of expands it, which is really fun. But if you don't like how it flaps out, you can just cut it to be a little bit smaller than this page and then just have it be a flat piece of notebook paper, which is what I did in this one. You can see right here, it's just a piece of notebook paper, flat, doesn't fold. And I put a little butterfly in the corner and I have some writing space right there. So that's the third idea, to create a little writing space with some notebook paper. Okay, and for the last panel, I'm going to show you how to do a tuck. A tuck is really similar to a pocket, except for a pocket is glued on 3 sides, and a tuck is just glued on 1 or 2 sides, like a little corner. So you just grab a piece of paper. I could use another piece of scrapbook paper and just cut it down, but I think this little printable is super cute, so I'm gonna cut that out. So if I had something that's the exact same and I just glued it on one side, it would be hard to see what's tucked behind, and it's just, I mean, maybe that work, and maybe that's kind of cool in its own way, but it's not what I'm looking for. If it is just a tiny bit smaller, then there's kind of room for whatever you tuck to poke out. And even if it was tiny in the corner, it would totally work and you could tuck something in it. So whether or not you only have a small border around it or it's very small in the corner, that is just totally your preference. So you can decide how big or small you want your tuck. But this is the size I'm going with, and I think that's a good size. And I can decide if I want to put it in the middle and just glue the bottom, and then I could tuck something up there, or if I wanted to put it on the side and just glue one side and tuck paper right there. If I wanted to put it on top and tuck it underneath, or the other side. I think I'm going to put my tuck right here on the side and just glue it one time. So I'll just draw a line of glue right there and put it down right there. Then I'll take a scratch piece of paper, I have just some normal lined paper. Let me fold it to a size that I want. Just kind of trim off those red lines. and trim it a little bit shorter as well. Then that tuck can hold a little paper that I can write whatever my heart desires. We'll stick it in there. So feel free to use the belly band pocket, just put some notebook paper on there, or make a tuck. Or if you have your own idea, go for it. You can even try to combine some of these ideas and make something totally unique. I also suggest if you are using this for an activity like girls camp, to just demonstrate each of those things and then let them decide if they want to do it or not and create their own thing. It's all about creativity, playing with all the fun crafting supplies, just doing whatever your heart tells you. So now that all the panels are complete, if we want, we can decorate the pages. So these pages are already really fun because I have a variety of different kind of papers, line papers. This is just blank computer paper. I got some different colors in there. This is avocado dyed paper, and I do have a tutorial on that. It's really fun if you want to know how to make pink paper. But now I'm just going to go through and try to add just a little something to each page. So I'll just take some washi tape and put it near the edge. I don't like to put it all the way on the edge. I like how it looks, just have a little border, maybe 1/4 of an inch or more. And then that just adds a little something. If I wanted to put a little stick or two there, I could, or keep going, but I want to keep it simple and just add a little something to each page. I'm gonna find 3 little elements to kind of combine to make a little cluster. So I have this little stamp, this little flower die cut, and then I'll use a sticker. And I'm just gonna start stacking them on top of each other. So we'll put that little flower down, then we'll put this little stamp down, and then I'll just take a little flower, kind of create that little grouping. So there it is close up. And if you put things in groupings of 3, that's a really good number for little clusters and little cute things. It's a balanced number and it just seems kind of complete and like there's stuff going on. Then I'll get out some stamps, get some ink, and we'll just put a little stamp right there. I'm gonna skip ahead because I don't want all my stamps right next to each other. Find the next page that I want. Let's give it a little bird in the corner. We'll add one more stamp, maybe back here, and we'll put a little leaf right there. Oops, I'm a really good stamper. Now this leaf is gonna need a little flower buddy since I don't want people to know what a bad stamper I am. See? I'm a great stamper, no one knows. That's also a huge plus to junk journaling. There are no mistakes to junk journaling and you can always cover it up with stuff. Okay, something else we could do is just take some of our scrap paper and just rip off a little corner and glue it on. So we'll put one little ripped corner up there, and then I will take the same thing and I'll stick in this corner. So we kind of have one in each corner, and they can kind of mirror each other like that. There you go, a little something going on. And you can add more layers if you want and put stickers on top too, or you can just kind of put a little cuteness and move on. And then on this page, I can just keep it real simple, put a little sticker in the corner. I really just like this paper already, so we'll go ahead and leave that blank. We got our little bird. I can make another little cluster of 3 things. Another thing of washi tape. And then we have that stamp with that little damage repair stickers there. And I like that pink there. I think that's good. So there we go. Everything's decorated. It does kind of pop open a little bit. If you kind of work at it and get it kind of softer and bendy, it doesn't pop open quite as much. But something you could do is give everyone a paper clip and they can just paper clip it, or some kind of little binder clip and hold it down. And that's what I did. I just had a bunch of paper clips available and I said, girls, if you want to put a paper clip on it, then it like keeps it nice and closed and it won't pop open. So there you have it. It's all done and decorated and it's super cute. And again, I can't even tell you how much fun this was. When we did this at girls camp, the girls totally got into it. They loved it. They were able to just be really free and creative. It's one of those projects that is simple enough to where it's easy to teach and easy to have the supplies, but it can be very complicated depending on the person's own creativity. So it's really up to them on how detailed they want to be. Whether they're just want to slap some things on and be done, or they're very detailed and they want to spend forever on it. It's a great craft for all kinds of different people, and it's so fun to see the different personalities come out and the different ideas that people have. So if you make one of these, or especially if you do it for a group project, I would love to see it. You can email me videos and pictures at katesjunkjournals@gmail.com, or you can tag me on Instagram at katesjunkjournals. If you have any ideas or suggestions, please comment below, and I'm sure everybody would love to hear your ideas for this project as well. If you have any ideas on future videos, I'd love to hear those too. And if you don't have any ideas, just say hi. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching, you guys, and I'll see you next week.